Don't be afraid of the jackal. He has no teeth. Thank you. Yes.
I've chosen a person I work with.
Somebody at work.
Shall I say what the problem is?
No, we just need to hear the sample of what you wrote down. Just say it right to the jackal, and if we need more information, we'll ask you.
Do I have to be me, or do I have to be this person?
No, you're going to be yourself, and you're going to be honest with this jackal.
Oh, okay. I do not feel too well when you approach me.
Why?
I don't feel you respect me.
Oh! Excuse me. Almost any time you say, I feel that you, your likelihood of getting what you need is almost zero. And you're very likely to get a person being very defensive, because notice that you said, I don't feel that you respect me. That's an analysis of the other person. Remember what I said a few moments ago. All analysis, when we are giraffe-speaking people, we are conscious as a tragic expression of our needs. So let's help you say that in another way. When we speak giraffe, there's 3 pieces of information that we make clear to the other person instead of that kind of analysis. See, when we make an analysis of somebody, such as, I feel that you don't respect me, I think we're trying to say 3 things. But by putting it in the form of an interpretation, that sounds to somebody with these ears as though they've done something wrong. They're being criticized and analyzed, and makes it very hard for them to respond with compassion to whatever it is that you need. So the first thing we want to substitute for that judgment, we want to tell this person what he or she does that makes life less than wonderful for you. That's what I call here, what you're observing. So what is it that this person is doing or not doing that's behind your diagnosis of them as not respecting you?
When this person talks to me, she never talks directly to me.
Never?
No.
Never. Okay, as long as it's never.
I've been working with her for 3 months.
Now, what do you mean, doesn't talk directly to you? See, that still has a bit of an analysis in it. So we need to clear up this observation a little bit. So what is it that this person does or doesn't do that you're referring to as not talking directly to you?
When she comes with her critics to me...
When she comes what?
With critics.
No, I don't criticize.
No, but when I'm being criticized...
No, I've never criticized you.
No, okay.
I'm educating you. I'm stating the facts. You see, to a jackal, they don't ever think they're criticizing. They think they're just telling the truth. So when I come to you and tell you some things that I don't like.
No, she doesn't come to me and tell me things that she don't like.
So I tell other people, I go to other people.
Yes, or in my presence, she's talking to me but not looking at me.
So I say some things to you, but I don't look at you.
Yes.
Or
say to somebody else when I'm present.
So I talk to other people when you're present. Yes. And it's your belief that this refers to you.
No, I know it refers to me.
Well, that's an analysis. Even if it's an accurate analysis.
No, because she says that it's to me.
Ah, so then later this person says that.
No.
Right at that moment.
In the situation, yes.
So right at that moment, she makes it clear to you that this is really for you, but she doesn't say it to you. She says it to somebody else, and she doesn't look at you.
Yes,
exactly. That's what we call an observation. Now, you've just described the behavior with no analysis. You haven't said that this is not being respectful, indirect, or anything. You've just described the behavior.
Yes.
Now, the second thing we're going to do, we're now going to tell the jackal, how do you feel when the jackal does that?
I feel very hurt.
You feel very hurt. The giraffe is dancing. That means that you were expressing a feeling. Third, why do you feel that way?
Because I need to be approached directly.
Aha! There again, perfect giraffe. You expressed your feelings You explained your feelings with reference to your needs. Or another way of saying that, we've just expressed how we are. This question, how are you, is asked in every country in which I work. How are you? ¿Cómo allez-vous? ¿Cómo está usted? Every country asks how you are, because our safety and our trust of one another is highly dependent on our getting reliable information back about how people are. Now, as we all know, in Jackal cultures, the question isn't taken seriously. So people don't develop a clear, open, honest way of revealing how they are. So when we are giraffe-speaking people, we want to do just what you did. Not put judgments out to the other person. I feel that you're not respecting me. But putting it in the language that we just did. But we don't want to stop there. We never stop after explaining how we are in giraffe. We always want to end on an opportunity to enrich life. Or another way of saying that is we want to make a request of what we would like the person to do that would make life more wonderful for us. So let's add this at the end. So what are you wanting from this Jackal?
I want her respect.
Now, the problem with that is that when we answer this question, what we are requesting in giraffe, we need to use positive action language. And that means we need to state a concrete action that we want the person to take. Because if we use language like, I want you to respect me, I want you to understand me, I want you to accept me, these are very important things for each of us to receive from other people. But I find that we're not as likely to get them if we ask for them in that way. For example, I was with some couples recently that were asking me to show them how to speak giraffe in couples relationship. And one of the women said to her husband, I want you to understand me. He says, I do understand. She says, no, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. 15 years they had that dialogue. So I said to her husband, could I play your role for a moment? He said, please. So I said to the wife, say it again. You never understand me. You never listen to me. And then playing the husband's role, I said, so you're really feeling very frustrated and would like more contact when we communicate. The wife started to cry. The wife started crying because I was giving her what she really needed. You see, what she was really requesting is that before her husband responds, she needed something back from him that told her that there was a connection. But see, she didn't ask for that. She didn't say at the end, husband, I would like you when I talk and I ask for it, would you be willing to tell me back what you've heard me say before you react? See, that would be using positive action language, not using vague language like, I want you to understand, I want you to listen. So let's tell this concretely what you want to do differently.
To talk directly to me.
So you want me to talk directly to you. Okay, so now let's put all four of them together. Jackal, when you look at other people but talk to me at that time and don't look at me, I feel very hurt because I really need somebody to be direct and to talk directly with me. So would you be willing in the future to talk directly to me? Look at me and tell me straight to me what's going on between you and me. Okay? Now, do you predict that the strength of giraffe is such that your jackal would respond this way? I'm very touched by how openly you've communicated with me. And I really admire how specific and clear you were. Of course, I would be willing to do exactly as you request. Is that how you predict your jackal would respond?
No, I think it's a bit more than that.
I asked you not to have skeptics here tonight, Klaus. Okay, so we must prepare you then for the real world because, as I said earlier, we want to be able to speak giraffe no matter how the other person speaks. So, now, what good does talking directly to you do? You never listen.
Did you ever try?
Pardon?
Did you ever try?
Ow! Now, oh, I see what the problem is. I forgot to have you put on these ears, you see. Now, put on these ears. Okay? You got the ears on. Now, when you have these ears on, I don't know if you can see from back there, but with these ears on, this is all you hear. Are you feeling? And you tune in to what the person is feeling, and then you try to hear what needs are behind the feeling. So let's try that out. What good does talking to you do? You never listen.
I'm not thinking.
This person feeling when the person says that. You see, if you have these ears on,
Oh, yes.
all you hear is the feelings. You hear no criticism, no judgment, no attack. You simply hear what the person is feeling and needing. So what do you sense? We don't have to be right as a giraffe.
No.
We just have to be looking at what's going on in this person. So what might she or he be feeling if they made that statement? What good does talking to you do? You never listen. And we want to help her out. What do you think this jackal might be feeling? Yes.
Nobody ever listens to me.
That's what the jackal would be thinking. But let me offer you a suggestion. Never hear what a jackal thinks. It's ugly up there. No. I think you will like people so much better if we tune into their heart, not to their head, especially if they're a jackal-speaking person. All you'll see coming out of there is a bunch of judgment. No. With these ears, we tune into the heart. What is it? What might this person be feeling who says, what good does talking do? You never listen.
Maybe frustration.
Maybe frustration. We don't know for sure. We have to check it out. Yeah.
It feels neglected.
Pardon?
Feels neglected.
Now we have to watch out for words like neglected, because that's more what the jackal thinks. They think they're being neglected. When we are giraffe-speaking people, we only use words for feeling words that clearly capture our emotion and that aren't really words for describing what others are doing to us. Let me give you several of those words so you can start to develop giraffe ears for feeling words. Jackal. I feel used. See how that describes what somebody's doing to you. It doesn't say how the jackal feels. I feel misunderstood. I feel cheated. I feel rejected, neglected. I feel ignored. Aren't there times when you think somebody's ignoring you? Don't you feel relieved? At other times when you think somebody's ignoring you, don't you feel hurt? So you see how words like that really don't capture what's going on inside. So if we speak a word like, I feel neglected, somebody with these ears is going to hear that much more likely as an attack, a criticism of what they're doing. So frustration, yes, but not neglected. How else? Any other guesses as to what this jackal might be feeling? Yeah.
Feels sad.
Be sad. That's a feeling. So any guess of a feeling is giraffe. Again, to repeat, we don't have to be right because we can always check it out with the person. We can always say, Jackal, are you feeling sad? And then they can say, no, I'm hurt or I'm mad. The idea of putting on the giraffe ears is to tune into the other person's feeling. In fact, it isn't even necessary always to say it out loud. The miracle occurs at the moment we put on the giraffe ears, even if we don't say a word. Because when we direct our attention here to what's going on inside the other person, we take all power away from other people to deplete our morale, to make us feel bad about ourselves. And what's nice about this is that it's good for the other person as it is for us. Because when we do tune in to what's going on inside of them, we are much more likely to respond with compassion to them. So everybody benefits at the moment we put on the giraffe ears, even if we don't say a word. Okay, so let's go with that first guess for the moment. Let's guess that this person might be frustrated. Now, the second thing that we do is to guess what the person is needing behind frustration. In English, this can be done in several ways. We can say, are you feeling frustrated because you would have liked? Or we can say, are you frustrated because you're needing or because you're wanting? The language doesn't make so much importance here as that we look for what is the need that isn't being fulfilled when this person says, what good does talking to you do? You never listen. So that shouldn't be too hard to guess. What do you think this person is needing? So somebody to listen. So let's check it out. Let's see how the giraffe then would put these two things together. What good does talking to you do? You never listen. So Jackal, are you feeling frustrated because you would like me to listen differently and better when you do talk? Oh, you couldn't even if you tried. You're so narcissistically involved in yourself, you think only you know anything that's worth knowing. I'm not the only one that thinks that. Now aren't you glad you have giraffe ears? Because without giraffe ears, you could take that personally. Or you could start to think there's something wrong with this jackal for thinking that way. And at the moment that you would think in either of those ways, the chance that both you and the other person are going to get your needs met is not very good in my experience. But with giraffe ears, we hear no criticism in what the jackal just said. We know that that's the more something sounds like an attack, the more pain the other person is in. And that's just an unmet need. It's a gift. It's to give us an opportunity to enrich this person's life. An opportunity because we hear it as a request, we don't hear it as a demand. Because as giraffes, we can hear other people's needs, but we don't lose our own boundaries. We don't necessarily give up our needs to fulfill the other person's needs. As a giraffe, we are conscious that what people need most of all is contact. They need to feel that their needs matter, and that doesn't mean we have to do what they're asking, but that we accurately receive what they're needing. So how could the giraffe respond to that complicated message? You couldn't listen even if you tried. You think only you have anything worth saying. Well, there's other people with some intelligence around here beside you. So Jackal, it sounds like you're really annoyed and you'd like me to acknowledge that other people have something of worth to offer. Oh, but you couldn't, because you're really a very sick person, you know that? So you're feeling kind of hopeless about whether this could happen, and you'd like me to change, but you're not sure that I can. Notice this poor Jackal is kind of dazzled. Don't pull any of that psychology crap on me. Well, why wouldn't the jackal think that? Because, you know, with this kind of ears, you feel somebody really trying to understand you, and this isn't the way most people in your life have responded to you when you're judging them like that. Of course, a jackal might start to feel some suspicion, wonder whether this is a new way of exploiting and manipulating people. What amazes me is how rarely this response comes back. And that's because even if the jackal is a little suspicious, it feels so good to be heard, to have somebody genuinely interested in hearing what your feelings and needs are behind your statement. But even if that message does come out, you know, don't use any of that psychology crap on me. No problem if we have giraffe ears. We hear the feelings and needs behind that sentence. We may do it silently, because we know if we say it outside, out loud, the person may misinterpret us. But there, what do we hear? We hear the person might be feeling suspicious. And what is the need? He wants to avoid being exploited in some way that he's not familiar with. So we just hear the human being behind that message, as behind every message. So, any other questions you have about how we would speak giraffe with your Jackal?
No, it's fine.
I'm glad you offered that. That's a good learning situation for us.